Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Pleasure to talk to you. How have you been, first and foremost, with everything that's been going on? How have you navigated this crazy year so far?
I honestly feel like I needed that little break because I got to like sit with myself and just like, self-reflect and just deal with myself. I know there's some people who are like, oh yeah, I got this done and I finished this. I'm like, okay, I relaxed. I didn't do anything during this break, which I needed. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded a little bit like the same as me. A little bit of procrastination, but a lot of work, but a nice bit of time to reflect, as it were.
Reflect, relax, because
yes,
once
indeed.
it starts to roll, it doesn't stop.
No, it does not. It does not. Well, congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Obviously the show itself has been hugely successful so far, so much so that it's in a rare breed that it's got a spin-off, which not all shows tend to get. How have you taken to being a part of that world, given that the show has such a big fan base already?
Well, I love it. I love the fact that like everyone, even the vets from that return from Power, they keep the environment so welcoming and so warm, so you feel like you're a part of the family from day one. So they make it easy, and then you're just so happy to be a part of such a great show, a great franchise. You can liken it to like DC or Marvel. So, it's a blessing.
It's your own little cinematic universe. I like that. I like
exactly.
That. That's quite good because it is a spin-off and it's part of the same world. You could all quite easily kind of connect and do all these crazy things together. That's exciting.
And there's so many more chapters coming after, so it's like keep evolving.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, in terms of you getting involved with this, I mean, how did it come about? Was it a long kind of process for you auditioning and stuff? And what was it about this particular version of the show that kind of got you excited to maybe try your luck to see if you can get involved?
I've always wanted to audition for Power, and that audition never came through. So when my manager sent over this, I was like, oh yes. Like they kept the sides or the script very, well, not the whole script because they didn't send that, but like our audition sides, it was very ambiguous. Like there's no names in there, so you don't know who's what, but you know that it's a spinoff of Power. So I'm trying to read through everything like, ooh, who is coming back? Nothing. But, I prepared for the role. I was ready. I did a self-tape first, and then I got the call back, and I was like, okay. And they tell you, like, who's all going to be in the room. At first, I was like, I don't know if I want to read this because I'm going to put pressure on myself. So I kind of skimmed it, and I was like, oh, my gosh, everybody's in the room. I go there, and the director, Anthony Hemingway, he's there, and he's, like, directing me on the audition, and I'm just like, okay. But it felt good. Like, I left, and I walked out of there super proud. Like I said, I killed that. Like I know I did a good job. Yep. So then boom, that same day I got pinned for the audition. Pinned for the role. And then like 3 days later, I found out I booked it. And of course I cried. Like bad, like nasty cried. Like
So it is a little, still more very much like Marvel. I don't tell you anything. It's a strange thing now, isn't it? With film and TV, they very rarely tell you such things.
Everything is vague. Like you don't know who you're actually going to be in a scene with until you book it, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is real. It's happening.
So tell us a little bit about your character and how she kind of fits into this world.
Well, Tejada, she is the princess of the family. She's the youngest of two brothers. She is intelligent, but she's still very street savvy. She's ambitious. She's still learning the game. Oh, she's stylish too. She always dressed really cute. But they are like, she's still learning the game. I mean, I'm a part of, I guess you would call it like a vicious crime family, with Monet Tejada being our boss. Like she is the queen pin, I would call her. She controls everything. So at the same time, it's like, you have to, as a young woman, you want to do certain things, but you still have to run it by your mom. So she's a mirror to her. She's learning the game, but also still trying to navigate and find her independence as well, as much as she can.
Yeah, and I mean the characters in this show are really rich and really fantastically written, and there's a kind of realism to them. I mean that must be exciting knowing that you're playing a character that has that richness to it, and that there's so many kind of chapters to the characters, let alone the story.
Yeah, it makes it I wouldn't say the word is easy, but it's a little bit easier because since they're so real, you can pull from the essence of who you are. Because I feel like with all of these characters in Power and even Power Book 2, all of the characters are so layered. So even though you may not know exactly where your character is going to evolve to, you can still pull from yourself. Like I feel like I pull a lot of myself, LaToya, and put her into Diana so that it still feels very organic and natural. So yeah, it makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this show, the previous show and this show is stacked with amazing talent, both in front and behind the camera. I mean, how that must be so exciting to be part of, not just with, say, Mary J. Blige, but everybody else that is part of this. That must be so exciting.
Yes, and like I said, everyone is like family. Like, yes, you have Method Man, Mary J. Blige, all these legends, but they're still so cool and relaxed, and it's just like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is easy.
I mean, it's a show that it keeps you guessing, even though you kind of think you know what's going on. It keeps you guessing. Is that the same for you guys when you read the scripts, that you obviously want to know, but you also don't want to know because you want to kind of discover stuff like the audience does?
Yes. So that's exactly how it is. We'll get a script and I'm like, okay, I want to read it, but I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? Because it's Power. You never know. There's so much duality to the characters. They're so layered. You don't know who's going to go which way. So it's always exciting to read and then go to the table read. Well, now Zoom table reads, but like, you know, just to see how the characters and the story evolves. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's such it must be such an amazing show to film as well, because it's as I said before, it's such a kind of gritty show and a realistic show. But that seems to be what people want these days. They want things, especially with dramas on TV, they want things that are slightly removed, but they can appreciate a lot of the stuff that's happening.
I feel like that is one of the main reasons why people gravitate towards it, because it is so real and it's raw and gritty, and you know, it feels like something that could be tangible for you. Even if it's not like you're a part of the drug world or not, it's still something that is tangible. You probably know someone, you know, so it makes it easy to relate to.
Yeah. And what's it like playing? I'm always fascinated by people playing characters in TV shows, because you get so much time with someone. I mean, you're not with, you know, you in a film, you get a finite amount of time, even if time kind of spans, you know, you get 100 pages, 120 pages. With a TV show, you get lots of different episodes. So that must be a great challenge and very fulfilling, knowing that you're playing someone over such a period and you see them evolve as you're playing them.
Yes, that is a beautiful journey, because you get to feel and notice how your character evolves, even though of course you have your character arc, but you don't know how it's actually going to be written in the script. So to see the evolution of your character and other characters is always so beautiful and sometimes shocking, because it is Power. But yeah, it's a nice journey to be on.
Yeah, and I guess obviously it's a strange time. You guys obviously filmed this last year. I'm guessing. I mean, obviously success. Obviously, there might be other seasons and stuff like that. But have you guys been? I guess you've been restricted to what you can do and what you can maybe do in the future, given what's going on.
Yes, so we are strongly following protocol. I'm reading up on SAG articles, like what can we do, what can't we do? Because for us, we were like filming episode 8 and they shut us down in March because of COVID. So everything was like halted, and it was scary. It was scary. And I was still here at the time, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to ride it out. But then, no, I packed up and I left. I went back home to LA.
Yeah, has that been a jarring experience? Because you know, you take for granted the work that you guys do as actors, and obviously the people behind the cameras and everything else. That as soon as you shut down, that must be a strange feeling for you guys, because you're used to working, as I guess, like with all of us.
Yeah, it felt very like surreal, because I'm literally sitting in the chair. They're doing makeup, and you can tell like the energy kind of shifted, and I'm just like, oh, what's going on? And the next thing you know, they're like, oh, we were shut down because of COVID. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, for real. I'm like, yeah, right. And sure enough, we were shut down. So, but it's fine, because now I'm not complaining. Like, we're back. We're getting ready to like get things rolling again. I'm excited. It's a blessing.
Indeed. And obviously the show is coming out very, very, very shortly this week, I think. In fact, it begins.
This
Are you
Sunday.
prepared? Are you prepared for, what comes next with the show and the success and people actually watching it and giving their opinions on social media and all that kind of stuff?
Not really, to be honest. I am not. I'm excited, but I don't know. I just know everyone's gonna love it. Even the people who, are a little apprehensive. Yeah, right. You're gonna love it. Yeah, but I'm not fully prepared for all of that. I'm just taking it all in day by day.
Yeah. And as for your character, I mean, I know a lot of people would love to play a character for a very long period of time if they get the chance. Is this a character that you kind of want to hold on to at the moment? You'd like to go back and do some more if you get the chance?
Absolutely. I love Diana. I love playing her. She has like this little sass to her. She's very vocal, opinionated. And even though she's trying to find her independence through it all, or find her footing, which I feel is very similar to me, she is also very protective of her brothers and her family, and that's how I am in real life. So of course I'm going to hold on to her. I love her.
Yeah. And just as a final question, and for people that maybe aren't aware of the show or maybe won't be watching it straight away, what would you say to them to kind of encourage them to watch the show, and why should they watch the show?
If you want something that is real, something that is gritty, and something that will grab you immediately, you need to watch Power Book 2 Ghost. I'm telling you, it is great. All the actors in there are phenomenal. Everyone delivers a very good job. Like, all the acting, like, separate the actors are great. So there are no weak links. You're going to love it.
I think they will as well. It's a
I think so, and
show.
it's bold.
Very bold, very bold.
Yeah,
but we like that.
And well written
these days. Yes, indeed. Yeah. It's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
and
you
I
so
hope
much.
The show goes well for you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys.
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.